All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Hope you guys are doing well. Gabe Toss in the building. H. Lewis, good morning. Denali Smith, what's up? Coach Chris said, Grand Rising Phenomenon, what's the best thing about Canelo Crawford fight? For me, it's not the $80 to $90 pay-per-view, even though it's worth it, in my opinion. What's the best thing? What's the best thing about the fight? Just the fight taking place. Another good evening, a good evening to watch boxing. I like the fight. You know what I mean? I like the fight. I'm not against it. I think it's a sideshow, but you know, I'll take it, Coach Chris. But I think the best thing is to see if Terence Crawford can beat Canelo Alvarez. I think that's the only question: is can Terence Crawford beat Canelo Alvarez, and can he move up in that weight? That for me is the issue. So I'm interested in seeing that. The fight card itself looks terrible. I think the fight card is terrible from what I can see. But anyway, what up, Denali? What up, Phoenix the Assassin? Coach Chris in the building. What up, Andy Gill, Nuke the Duke? What's good? Ray Patterson in the building. What's going on, Akeem Idris and David Howard? Good morning, David Howard. Contrell LeGroux, what's going on, man? Fanon, you seen what Turkey tweeted about the no running rule? Hell yeah. I told you. Yes, and I told you. That's why Teofimo Lopez and Devin are not fighting. I told you. I told you. I told you. I told you. I told you as soon as Bug Eyes said that shit, I was like, okay, that's Turki. Turki Alalshikh, that's what Turki Alalshikh wants out there. So Turki Alalshikh put it out there. And then Devin and Teo enter a negotiation. And I told you that Turki Alalshikh wants certain guarantees that there's going to be action in the fight. And he's not going to let Devin run around the ring. So he puts out a tweet and says, no more people on my card that are going to be fighting like Tom and Jerry running around the ring. So, yeah, I want my apology from Here for Boxing. Here for Boxing. You ho. I'm not going to say because I don't want my video demonetized again. But I will say this. Here for Boxing. I'm sure you're going to put out an apology to me for saying that I was lying when I said that the reason that fight didn't happen is because Turki Alalshikh wants to make sure that Devin Haney fights. And then what does he turn around and do? He puts that out and says, no more fighters on my card that are going to run around like Tom and Jerry. That is Devin Haney. That's the only person that you know for sure fits that description is Devin Haney. Maybe Shakur Stevenson. Devin, Shakur, Teo. I told y'all, but y'all don't want to believe me. You want to believe Here for bullshit. Out there on Twitter talking all kind of crazy about me. I never thought I'd ever agree with Turkey, but in this case, okay, yeah. I mean, it's going to cause a lot of problems in the fights. You know what I mean? It's going to shorten a lot of people's career, but it will make people fight, and I'm okay with that. I want to see these guys fight. That shit Devin Haney did with Jose Ramirez was bullshit. You know what I mean? Playing keep away, running a four corners offense from the first round on. Nobody trying to hear that shit. Devin Haney ran a four corners offense on Jose Ramirez for that entire fight so he wouldn't get hit. So, nah, bro, you got to put your head in there a little bit, man, if you're going to get paid like that. I agree, man. I agree with Turki Alalshikh on that. I think he's spot on with that. The only problem is how are you going to administer that? You know? What's up, Control LeGroux? But, yeah, I'm 100% behind that. And I hope they put that shit in there and I hope they do it like this. Yeah, I'm going to pay you a certain amount of money, but you got to throw a certain amount of punches to get that money. But he said, me too, I want to see fisticuffs. Yeah, I want to see the fight. I want to see a real fight. And Devin stole that man's money in that last fight, so I'm kind of with him on that. What's up, Jay Henderson? I think I said what's up. Yeah, I said that what's up to everybody. So Devin didn't put on a sweet science of boxing in that ring. Hell no. He put a hell yeah, paper punch. I'm in favor of pay per punch. I can go with that one. Because I don't want to sit there with no more garbage ass fights like that, man. That was shit. There's no way that fight card should have been that bad. Absolutely no way it should have been that bad. Cam J Network said 100 Turkey tired of overpaying the boxing track stars. Well, look, man. You don't want to pay the boxing track stars. Leave people's fighters alone. You know what I mean? Turki Alalshikh is running into that because Turki Alalshikh is trying to snatch everybody off the top. And when you fight, you snatch people off the top. You know, you're not going to be able to match make them and put them in with fights that can be tough fights. You know? So I'm 100% with Turki Alalshikh on that one. Now the ring card boys, no. That's where I leave them. I leave them on the ring card boys. T Sizzle said, Tank told him chasing that turkey bread wasn't going to be good. Too scared to eat what they kill here in the U.S. Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree 100% with that assessment, T Sizzle. They are afraid to, but the problem is that they want to get to the next fight. So they're going to do whatever they have to do to win that fight so that they don't lose. And that's exactly what happened with Devin Haney and Jose Ramirez. So I think if Turkey is going to pay all that money, that even if it is cryptocurrency, you should still work for your cryptocurrency. I mean, cryptocurrency does have some value to it, even though I think you guys are blazing morons for taking it. But whatever, it's still some type of currency. And since it's some type of currency and you're getting it in exchange for fighting, you should at least keep your end of the deal and actually try to fight. And I do believe that you should try to knock out everybody. You should try to go for a knockout, at least try to set the shit up, at least try to break them down, do something so you can get them later on in the fight. But just trying to do the amateur runaround is whack as shit, and I don't want that shit no more. So I agree with Bug Eyes and Turki Alalshikh. I'm going to put a link in the chat early in case y'all want to chop it up. But I'm going to tell you right now, there's no way that the Canelo Alvarez fight with Terence Crawford is going to be as big as the fight with Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach. That will show you. I'm telling you that it will be, because there's no way the Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez fight can make any money. It is going to lose ungodly amounts of money. There's no way that it's going to turn a profit from just off of the amount of money that Turki Alalshikh is saying that he's paying these guys. There's no way it's going to turn a profit. It's going to wind up losing a ton of money. So there's no way that it's going to be more successful than Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach, which, by the way, is a fight that is more anticipated than Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford. You cannot manufacture anticipation. You can't just say, I'm going to put these two fights together and then I'm going to generate a bunch of interest in a fight. The interest in the fight has to be generated by the people. And then when you have a lot of interest in a fight with the people, then you make the fight and the people want to buy it. Ain't it odd they announced that fight with no venue? It's not odd because it's Turki Alalshikh. Cam J, it's not odd because it's Turki Alalshikh. Turki Alalshikh wants to make every decision in every fight card, bro. It slows down the work. It makes people have to do work 2-3 times. He's just not a very good manager of people. So it's going to cause a problem, but he's going to want to announce it. But he's going to want to announce it before he has a venue. I mean, people can't buy tickets now because they don't know whether or not you're going to have a venue. But you announce the fight without a venue being set. That doesn't make any sense at all. Okay, we have a fight, but we don't know where it's going to be. The fighters have agreed to fight, but we don't know where it's going to be. That is just incompetence. But here's the thing. Because they keep switching up, because they keep switching up the dates and where it's going to be and all of that, who's going to want to buy the fight or invest their time in that fight knowing full well that the fight might get canceled or the fight might get moved depending on what Turki Alalshikh says? Troy Hutch says, so true. Nothing organic about Canelo and Bud. No, it's not a natural matchup because they don't have any common opponents, right? Usually the way you set these fights up is that the fighters have common opponents. What up, Two Cent in the building. What up, girl? What's up, lady?
What's going on, Fanon? What up?
I'm good. Always good to hear your voice.
Oh, awesome. So I hear an echo. The
I don't hear it.
Crawford Canelo fight, I guess it's finally happened, I guess you could say. I think two things. Either they were lying about not having a network and a place to have a fight, or they're lying about having a network and a place to have a fight. Like, it's just weird. They haven't announced the undercard yet. I heard Crawford mention that he was only getting 10, not only, but he's getting 10 million for this fight. So those astronomicals, Canelo getting 100 million and Bud getting 50 million for this fight. I mean, that didn't even make any sense at all.
Thank you, God. Bud said he's getting 10 million.
Yes, that's what he said on the interview.
Okay, that makes sense.
So,
but why is he doing it for 10 million?
He said he's not doing it for the money. He's doing it for the legacy.
Oh, okay. I have my respect to him then on that then. Because he could get 10. I think he could get 10 million fighting a couple of different people. I would think.
Could he? I don't know. I don't know why you would jump up two-way class. You know, I mean, that was the whole like you up there for the
answer to that is the answer to that is none. Nobody that I can think of.
That's what I'm saying.
That I can think of.
Guaranteed though. He could have got 10 mil. It probably just wouldn't have been guaranteed.
Jesus M says 10 million is not true. I don't believe billion. So, but you heard him say he's getting 10 million.
How is it not true? He said it himself in the interview. So how is it not true?
Hey man, who knows? I don't know who Jesus M is. So I'm going with you.
Well,
you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying something and you went out.
Yeah, Barrios and Pacquiao damn near sold out already.
CG Cap confirmed. He said Bud did say it out his mouth. So $10 million, that makes sense. Seems like Bud don't feel like lying. Because $100 million, hell no. Ain't no way. He can't make no money.
They say he was getting 50 million and Canelo was getting 100 million. Like for one fight? Come on, y'all. That's not even you can't. That's not even plausible. You can't even get away with that.
$10 million is a lot of money, though. So $10 million seems about like what that's worth. Canelo Alvarez fighting somebody and that person getting 10 million. That's
about right.
That sounds about right. About 10 million. If Canelo fights somebody, the other guy gets about 10. Canelo could get 20. Canelo could get 30. That makes sense. Those are numbers that actually make sense. And a way that you could maybe turn a profit off of that. Maybe. But man. Thanks for letting me know that.
And I wanted to real quick about the no running rule. I looked up the rules last night, and it's already a rule that says if you don't engage, you don't get the round. That's already part of the rule. So to me, I don't agree with the no running rule because I feel like, first of all, it's a slippery slope because it's too subjective. Who's going to determine what running is? And it's not a no running rule, it's a no engaging rule when fighters don't engage. And I just think that it's too subjective. Who's going to determine if the fighter is running? The ref? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how would you even, quote unquote, implement that if that's what you want to do? And it's consequences in itself with fighters fighting like that. They're not going to have the fan base they want. They're not going to get the fights that they want. So fighting like that in itself is consequence enough because of what the consequences would be of you doing that. So I don't think you necessarily need a rule when it's already written within the rules already.
Rocco McBride said, Turkey said no big names on the undercard. He said the undercard will be about the talent. Bro, if you don't have any big names, how you have the talent?
So big name, what? That don't even make sense. That don't even make sense.
Basically, he's trying to make some money on this fight. Is what he's trying to do. Because the only person a name that I saw mentioned that of name on that undercard, the only one of name that I saw mentioned that on that whole undercard potential fighters was Abdullah Mason. That's the only one. That's the only one I saw. I don't see anybody. So maybe what he's trying to do is he's just trying to make some money, you know? And I don't blame him for that, because if you're paying 30 on you, Canelo is not selling like that anymore. And Terence Crawford never sold like that. So,
and then the fact that Turkey made Canelo Alvarez disappear his last fight. Nobody was talking about that fight. No, I still haven't heard anybody mention that Canelo is 2 times undisputed. I still haven't heard one person say that. And so I think that there was not really a natural demand for this fight, right? It wasn't like people been talking about it, like, no, it's been anticipation. People want to see. It was just like one day, like, oh, Terence, like, oh, I want to fight Canelo. And then it's just been going from there. Like, if people already feel like the weight disparity, of course, there's some people that's like, oh, Crawford can win, it'll be a good fight. But I just don't think that the natural demand is there for the fight. And so it's Turkey's like all of a sudden, oh, I want to make some money. That's not how it works. Like, that's not how it works. You don't just all of a sudden, oh, I want to make some money. You have a fight that there's not really a demand for. You kind of manufactured it. And then you're going to have no names, just talent on the undercard. Like, what?
hey, man, there needs to be an undercard on that, because who wants to watch because nobody's going to watch it. You're going to lose. But whatever. He can do whatever he want to do on God. He can do whatever he want to do.
He can.
You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. I'll take the fight, but I'd much rather have David Benavidez. Like, there's no comparison between Canelo. I'd rather have David Benavidez and Canelo. And honestly, man, I'd rather have Terence Crawford and Gervonta Ennis. Those 2 fights and build up to something. But, you know, it is what it is, man. We'll get the fight. You got anything else on your mind?
What do you think about Keyshawn?
What about what do I think about him and getting in the fight, or the way that he lost that weight?
I mean, if you think about it like that, see, I think about the whole thing in totality, right? Like, you got the missing the weight, then you got the showing no remorse in the crowd, and then you telling people De Los Santos was scared, that's why he didn't want to fight you, and then you go in the locker room and headbutt him, and then you come out with this weak apology, and you know, it's just like the whole totality of the situation, I feel like, was just a disaster.
Oh, man, it was. I mean, he handled him. First of all, he did that shit. I believe he did it on purpose, trying to get cute. And I think he's trying to get on the Turkey card and make a bunch of money to probably fighting Teofimo Lopez at 140. That's what I think he was on. And he was like, look, I don't want to lose to Edwin De Los Santos. So he's going to leave his belt. He wasn't going to fight in the weight class again. So he drops his belt. He doesn't try to make weight. And then he messes up because Edwin De Los Santos doesn't go for the pay. Just says, give me my money. And then walks out. And so, yeah, I think it's terrible. I think it's absolutely terrible on him. That was unprofessional. And I do believe he did it on purpose, and he did it to try to get on a Turki Alalshikh card, because that's what he said he wanted to do when he asked to fight Teo. So, you know, I think that's what he tried to do. And I think it backfired on him terribly. And then he's in there, and then to headbutt Albright like that. I mean, he's just all around just showed an immense amount of immaturity. Untrustworthy. He's unreliable, and it's just, yeah, man. He's just no. You know what I mean? It's all the way around a horrible look for him, man.
And I kind of thought about, you know, I hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, this happened in boxing before. I've seen worse," and they're giving all these examples. But I think what they're missing is the timing of this, the position that he was in, the eyes that was on him, the anticipation of the fight, how big the event was. You know what I'm saying? I feel like they're overlooking all of that, trying to make comparisons.
But to me, whenever anybody does that, I mean, to me, it's who cares? You can name 15 people that did the same thing. They all were wrong for doing it. Just because you can name somebody else that did it doesn't mean that this guy gets away and can do it. That makes sense. It's like saying somebody's like, yeah, you get caught on steroids. You're like, yeah, but other people got caught. So what? They got caught. You got caught. Nobody said you were the only person ever to do it, but you did it. I don't get when people do that. Try to, like they did. When did they do that? You remember when that Tyson Fury didn't have his glove on his hand and he's hitting with like open hands? They put a picture of Ali up with Ali's hand out. And it's like, look, Ali did it. So what? So if Ali cheated, does that just mean Ali cheated? You cheated, he cheated, you're both cheaters. So what? I mean,
right.
I never get how people you can't justify a bad action on one person's part just by naming somebody else that did the same thing. That's just
exactly. It doesn't make like what is your point? I'd be like, why do y'all keep saying this? What is your point? Does it mean he shouldn't get ridiculed because other people did it? No, that's not how it works.
Exactly.
But I think Keyshawn has split his fan base with that. And I don't think that's good when fighters do that, when they overpromise and underdeliver and they lose the credibility of their fan base. And I think that this model that Turkey has with the quote unquote guaranteed big paydays, I think that that's not a good business model for some of these fighters that don't understand the importance of their fan base and the longevity in the business. Like Manny Pacquiao, for example. Manny Pacquiao been out the ring how long? Now he about to have a title fight with a championship, and he still got his fan base. And that's why he's able to even do that. So they don't focus on the longevity of them being in the sport. I feel like they just focus on payday to payday. And I think it's affecting them as far as the longevity in their fan bases in the sport. And then they complain when they don't get this or they don't get that, when y'all aren't doing the things to put yourselves in position to have the things that you're saying you want. And that's the thing that I don't understand about the younger fighters.
I agree 100%, man. But I think that just about fighting on DAZN, period. Nobody's watching you fight. So, I mean, you go over there to DAZN and you can get your payday, but you're going to be fighting in front of an empty room. Like nobody's watching it. So how can you possibly grow your brand and grow your name recognition if you're fighting on a network that nobody has? So even if you could be the best promoter in the world on DAZN, but nobody has DAZN, which is why, I mean, I do think it's a smart move to take Terence, Crawford, and Canelo to Netflix, because at least people have that. You know, when they say it's on Netflix, oh, I got Netflix, but nobody has DAZN, man. Nobody. It's just. Go, I'm listening. 2 Cent, you were saying something? You're on mute, 2 Cent. I'll wait till she comes back. They won't get any good paydays outside of Turkey fighting like that, waiting on them to come around. You back, 2 Cent?
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay, yeah, you were saying something.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly well now. I couldn't hear you.
I don't even remember, but I was just talking about the fan bases and how even when Keyshawn, and this is another thing, speaking of the Keyshawn thing, right? When his brother got on the internet and he's like, he was upset because people were refunding their tickets, and he's like, you know, we fighting too, and Keyshawn ain't the only person fighting. And I'm like, that's kind of delusional, bro. Like, they not buying them tickets to see you. They're buying them to see Keyshawn. Y'all just happen to be there. So that's another thing Keyshawn is kind of messed up, is like, you was bringing your brothers along with you. You was putting them on your undercards, and that was great. Like, I felt like that was dope. And you just messed that up. And then for your brother to come out and feel some type of way because people refunding tickets as if they bought the tickets to see you. They did not buy the tickets to see you. They bought the tickets to see the main event, which is Keyshawn. And that's no knock on you and saying nothing bad about you. That's just what it is. And then when they interview your other brother and they're like, you know, people have some criticisms of Keon. What do you got to say? And he like, F them. And I'm like, F them? Like, these young guys they have no situational awareness. They have no self-awareness. Like, it's I don't get it. I really don't.
Nah, man, that was a bad look. And especially for some people coming up, they just act like they made it, man. I was listening to, somebody told me that Sean Vitale was talking about Keyshawn and saying like how Keyshawn was before he got the title and how what Keyshawn acted like after he got the title. It just seems like it went to his head, like really, really went to his head.
He just get that title in February?
He just got it. Seriously, he was in his first step-up fight. Like this, Edwin De Los Santos was his first step-up fight. He got a title before he had a step-up fight. In his first step-up fight, he misses by 4 pounds. It's just, there's no way, and this brother's talking, like, bro, come on, man. Don't anybody know y'all, man. Like, just
nobody coming to see you, Otis.
Exactly. Ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis. But I'm glad that Bob Arum gave the money back. That's a good look to.
No, they had to. I heard that if they didn't, they was going to get sued because of a law of a rule, I guess, by the commission in Virginia or something like that. If a fighter doesn't fight, you got to pay them their purse. That's what I heard. I don't know how true that is. I haven't done no research, so take that with a grain of salt. But and then now Albright is, or again, another rumor, is talking about suing Keyshawn. And when I seen Albright doing that interview after the fight, I was like, he probably gonna sue him. And he could sue him, he could sue the venue. And I will be like, you're justified. Like, you need some real world consequences with your actions. There was no excuse for that. There was no excuse for you to do that. It's just all bad. And what makes this whole thing even worse to me, Fanon, is that you cherry picked De Los Santos off the couch. So not only was this your first step up fight, it's a step up fight that you cherry picked with all the things De Los Santos had to overcome. He had to overcome the blood clots. He had to overcome the long layoff. They talking about he started the camp at 170 pounds. And you still had to come in overweight to try to get some type of advantage. And then I hear he was 137 in the morning or something like that. And then they said when he weighed it again, he was 139. So he put on even more weight before the final weigh-in.
That's purposeful. He did that on purpose. Trying to do a Ryan Garcia, man. He tried to get slick. There's just no other way around it. He tried to get slick, and it backfired. And it should backfire on him. And I'm embarrassed for Bob Arum and Top Rank for that. Because I'm telling you, I think they got submarined by Turki Alalshikh. I really do. I think that Keyshawn was negotiating for that TO fight. Thought he had that TO fight and wanted to make sure he didn't lose to a dangerous opponent, because Edwin De Los Santos is dangerous. But that's all I really have on that 2 cents.
Yeah, and as far as Turki go, like, I wouldn't even trust Turki, because it seems like he has a habit of saying he got fights or promising fighters fights, and then they don't come to fruition. It's like, like T.O., let's say T.O. and Boots. Now, you could take what T.O. say with a grain of salt, but he's like, Turki told me basically he was going to make me and the T.O.,
You broke up again. 2 cents.
I'm driving, my signal faded.
No worries.
I was saying that Turki, T.O. was saying, and of course you could take what T.O. saying with a grain of salt. Basically, he was kind of saying that the Boots fight was implied to him, that it was already, like, Boots had already agreed to it, type of thing. And when it was time to make the fight, Boots didn't want to have the fight. And it's like, I think Turki is telling one fighter, yeah, I got the fight, and then announcing the fight, and then trying to pressure the other fighter into taking the fight.
Absolutely. So, and he's playing with his venue, and he's not announcing venue dates so that to tempt other people to try to go at that date so he could counter program. I mean, Turki ain't slick. He's doing the same shit. He's doing the same underhanded shit everybody does.
He's not good at it at all.
No, he only has a lot of money. But a fool in his money soon parted.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. What's up, Anton?
What's going on for man? What's new in this boxing world today, man?
We got a fight.
Who?
Terence, Crawford, and Canelo Alvarez. It's official, even though they don't have a venue or an undercard.
Oh, the September 13th date?
Yeah, it's done. Well, they announced that is the date, and it's in Vegas, but they didn't give a venue for it. So we have a fight. We just don't know where it is or what the undercard is.
Did you see what Lamont Roach said?
Nah, what Lamont Roach?
He said he not being quiet no more. He letting the cat out the bag. T.O. is waiting for him and Tank rematch so T.O. can fight him. They trying to line the fight up with each other.
T.O. and Lamont Roach?
Yes, sir.
That
doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make sense because T.O. fights at 140. This will only be Lamont's second fight at 135.
No, this is not his second fight at 130. This is not his second fight at 135.
Well, his second, because he started at 35. I know. Let me rephrase that. This is his second fight recently at 135. I remember he did start at 35 and went back down to 30. But yeah, that's what he basically was saying, that they were trying to get a fight together with him and T.O. But like you said, that don't make sense to me either.
No, I don't make any sense. I mean, it is what it is, man. I'm telling you, I know people trying to get Lamont Roach to try to break up that fight between him and Terence, him and Gervonta. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if he got a bunch of different offers. Because that's coming because they're trying to break up that fight. But Roach, if Roach started at 140, that just tells you that he's one of those guys, man. One of the guys that did not belong at 130, probably doesn't belong at 135, and is draining himself down. And more than likely, because that's what it seems like everybody in that weight class does, is that they, like, Ryan did it, Devin did it, T.O. did it, Pitbull, Rolly did it. I mean, it's just they don't belong in that. They just don't belong in that weight class, man. And that's why I always thought it was very, what do you call it? What's the word the young folk using? Diabolical. I always thought it was really diabolical how people were pushing so hard for him to move up in weight. And that was because they knew that the rest of these guys didn't belong in that weight class. And they just wanted to toss Gervonta Davis in with the lot and act like he was doing the same thing that those guys are doing. When it's clear Gervonta's the smallest guy in almost every fight that he has. Anyway,
and all they did was keep crying for him to move up. I don't hear them tell anybody else to move up.
No. Somebody said Allegiant Stadium in Vegas. It can't be Allegiant Stadium in Vegas on the 13th because there's a football game there. There's a football game. UNLV is playing at Allegiant Stadium. And why would you go to Allegiant Stadium anyway, man? That shit is that. Who wants to watch a fight at a football stadium? It is what it is, though.
Yeah, and that's a open stadium too. That's one of them newer type of arenas. I think it can either be closed or open.
Yeah,
why you're not gonna have that many people for a stadium. That's wild.
Well, that's how they flopped at the other stadium that they did when they was in what was that, California, with the soccer stadium and all that. That's why it flopped, because it was too big and they didn't even have that many people there at the fight. That's why they lost all that money.
All right, I'm looking at the event schedule. So Saturday the 13th. Oh no, they have it there at Elite. They actually have it listed at Allegiant Stadium. And the Las, actually they have them both on the same day there. They listed both.
What time is the fight gonna be? Early then? Like, I'm just curious how they're gonna pull it off. Or is the football game early?
It says September 30th, UNLV Rebels. And then on the same day, it has Canelo Alvarez. They don't have anything else. No other dates can I see where they have two things scheduled on the same day. But they have those things scheduled. They have it scheduled for the same day. Have it listed for the same day. That's going to be interesting, man. I don't see how you can do that. I don't see how you can do it. You're going to have a football stadium there, full football stadium, which means you have to do up all the cleanup for that, and then you're going to have another fight in the same arena. I don't believe it. I just don't. That's weird. CG Cap said they'll move UNLV if anything. They can't move UNLV because UNLV is playing Idaho or
Why
Iowa.
do you think they're going to move a whole football game?
They're not going to move that because that's the money earner. They're going to sell that shit. And plus, it's a home game that was planned at the beginning of the year.
Yep.
They planned that a year ago to have it there that day.
Yep. Them football schedules come out early.
Yeah, they and plus they have to set up the seats because if they have it in the middle of the football field, they've got to put chairs and all that stuff out. They've got to set all that stuff up. That just doesn't seem to me to be a very smart situation, bro. Phenomenal Show said they for sure not moving UNLV off their schedule. That will never happen. Football is king. Yeah. Nah, I don't see it.
Yeah, not for no boxing event I don't see no boxing event, but not for a boxing event for a person like Terence Crawford or something like that. He's not even a big enough, he's a great boxer, but Bud has never been a big draw when it comes to ticket sales. That's why Errol Spence was able to sell out the Dallas Cowboys Stadium, because he was a draw. So it's a big difference, and the Allegiant Stadium is bigger than that. So it's like Yeah, it's gonna be a bunch of empty seats in there.
Be wild, man.
A bunch of empty seats. But what were y'all discussing about Boots and Tio? I kind of heard snippets and then I went on the thing to
Well,
get on the link,
I
so I
just
missed the
feel
end
like
part.
because y'all remember when Turkey was like, oh, we're gonna do a tournament with Devin, Boots, Tio, and this and that, and I just feel like Turkey likes to announce things to the public and maybe talk to one side and promise them a fight and then announce the fight and try to publicly pressure the other fighter into taking the fight. And we've seen him do that to Boots twice. We've seen it with Tio and we've seen it with Virgil Ortiz. And I just don't understand why he keeps doing that.
Yeah. And he also has the habit of predicting or trying to line people up for fights in the future, and then that person get in there and lose, and now the fights is off. And we seen something similar that just happened on the PBC card with Caleb Plant and Jamal Charlo, but PBC doesn't have a track record of doing that. Turkey has a track record of trying to make fights, and people are going into other fights talking about X, Y, and Z, and then they get in the ring and they lose, and now that fight is off. Because I don't think we're ever going to get that Devin versus Ryan Garcia rematch.
I don't think so.
And that
I
fight
don't
is in
think we was
high
ever going to
demand.
get it. I don't think we was ever going to get it regardless. But let me ask y'all a question, right? I don't understand we can't have a rematch because you lost. I really don't understand that logic because styles make fights and you didn't beat me. So why can't we have a rematch?
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that myself, period, because I still want to see the fight. But
I'll tell you why. Because you sued me. That's why.
that's a whole different one. Yeah, for sure.
But that's a big difference between, I do want to clarify, there's a big difference between Devin Haney suing Ryan Garcia and Albright suing Keyshawn Davis. That's a big difference.
Oh, absolutely.
Keyshawn Davis
Albright
headbutted
is
him.
suing the venue too, and it's a difference. He's suing the venue.
No, the difference is that it didn't happen inside the ring. It happened outside the ring. You hit him outside the ring.
That was definitely an unwanted touching.
Yeah, and a headbutt is a punch. You punched him with your head. You walked into it. He walked in there and he punched him, and he injured him because he makes his living off of boxing. So what would have happened if you would have headbutted him? He would have fractured his orbital bone or something.
Yeah,
like he hit him right here. What if he would have missed and broke his orbital bone? You know what I mean? Right there, you should be able to sue him off of that. I believe that for sure because you hit him and he's earning his living boxing, and you hit the man. That is a huge difference between the two of those. I just wanted to clarify that.
Because it's coming for none.
Yeah,
how come when Albright sued, y'all ain't want to say nothing?
Oh well, they already said it on the channel. He already said that y'all are the same people that was bitching about Devin suing, and now y'all in favor of Nair Albright suing. And it's like you just said, it's two different situations, man. And somebody was smart enough to say, bro, that's not even nowhere near the same situation.
It's not.
It's totally different. It's not even close. You got beat up in the ring and sued. This dude was in his locker room celebrating. Y'all confronted him and headbutted the man. It's the same.
It's not the same.
Do you know how mentally unstable you got to be to walk up to somebody and just headbutt them? That is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, why is that even in your consciousness? Like, I'm about to go headbutt this nigga. Like, why are you this mad over somebody winning fair and square?
And the messed up part about the whole situation is that the older brother took his L on the chin. He was one of the ones that was actually breaking it up. He didn't even go retaliate and do no dumb stuff like that. And he's the one who lost.
Let me get these two super chats. Isaiah YWD said Bud said he wouldn't fight Canelo years ago. All of a sudden, Bill Haney tells Bud it's his fight, and all of a sudden, Bud wants Canelo. And Big Dog Willie says Jake Paul versus Tank, November 22nd, Las Vegas, MGM. Pac-Man versus Tank, Spring 2026. Logan Paul versus Tank, Fall 2026. The Rock versus Tank and Amir Khan in a handicap cage match, 2027. Roach 3, Fall 2027. I'm going to tell you, you may not like that, bro. I will take all of that shit. Thank you, Big Dog Willie. What were you saying, Ann?
But now, what do you? Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
That's one of your trolls on the channel, huh? But
Yeah,
he's a
Big
supporter.
Dog Willie's
Yeah,
my dude.
Big Dog
he
Willie
be
is
on.
he's a huge Tank fan. He absolutely loves Tank, and he cannot wait for the Tank and Jake Paul fight. It's all he talks about every day. You see, he talking about it right now. He spent $10 to
Yeah,
help promote the
I
fight.
see him on Manager Marty doing the same thing. Tank versus Hair Grease, November 2026. So yeah, he be going then.
But for now, what do you think about Mario Barrios as a fighter? Like, what would be your assessment of him?
I love Mario Barrios as a fighter. I think he's a solid contender. I think he's a solid contender level fighter. I think he's a good, solid fighter. He's going to always come to fight. I think he proved he's a good fighter by beating your Danny Zugas. And yeah, I think he's a solid fighter. I don't think he's like, he's not a top pound for pound fighter. He's not. I probably rate him as the number maybe 3 or 4 welterweight, even though he's got a title. But he's a solid fighter, man. He's always brings entertaining fights. He comes to the fight. You definitely don't have to worry about a no-run rule out of Mario Barrios because it's going to be a good fight. It's going to be a good, fun fight. I think about Mario Barrios like I think about Gabe Rosado. Just a really good, fun fighter. Every fight that he's in is going to be a fun fight to watch because he's entertaining. So yeah, he's a good match to make with any fighter.
So what do you think about people because literally I have debates about this on my panel. People think Manny Pacquiao is gonna beat Mario Barrios, and I'm not saying that he can't, but I'm just saying Manny Pacquiao has a lot to overcome in order to beat Mario Barrios. He's an active champion. What do you think about that? Because people like Mario Barrios trash and this and that, and I'm like, come on, y'all. If Manny Pacquiao comes 46 years old off a 4-year layoff and beat Mario Barrios, absolutely he gets the credit. But I just don't see it happening. He's an active champion.
Look, Mario Barrios is a 2-weight division champion. I don't know how you can call a man garbage. The man is a 2-division champion.
And he also more than some boxers, like we know. I'm from Philly. I'm a huge Duran Ennis fan, but Mario Barrios has more legacy fights to date. This will be his 3rd legacy fight. He got a Tank fight, he got a Keith Thurman fight, and now he has the Manny Pacquiao fight. He has 3 legacy fights this early in his career that's already on his resume.
That's because he's with the PBC. That's what I'm saying. That's what they do over there.
Absolutely. But everybody, they want to trash the PBC and stuff like that. So I really can't wait into this PBC and Top Rank whatever they want to call it, business, whatever venture takeoff, because I want to see the PBC and Top Rank in position to give us the real boxing. All this stuff that's been going on with Turkey and this whole Turkey venture with Matchroom and it's been crazy. It's been up and down all over the place. It seems like every fight that Turkey try to put on, it's always something that happens. It's always a backstory. He's never prepared. If somebody is sick or pulls out, he doesn't have a good replacement. Now we just seeing a mismatch fight. PBC doesn't do that. If PBC, you see, Rolly had his situation, we got a great fight between Tank and Pitbull Cruz. They're always prepared.
Yeah, absolutely ready to go, man. Ready to go.
They're always prepared.
Now, what do you think about Abdullah Mason, y'all panel?
Go ahead, Anton.
Abdullah is probably the best. Well, he's a contender now because he's number 2. He was number 2 going into that fight, WBO. So he's a contender now. I would say that he's probably the best up and coming contender right now in the sport of boxing. Now, from his last fight, when he got dropped twice and showed grit and got up, this fight against Nakathilia that we know can crack is a little bit older, so got that grown man strength, and he was literally in there fighting somebody that's 10 or how many ever years younger than him. Abdullah showed good poise and good patience, and you could tell he worked on that defense. He had that high guard up, and he walked them down all night, man. That was an A+ performance in my book. Um, I think it's sky's the limit for him, man. I think he's definitely one of the future stars in the sport of boxing.
Yeah, I'm kind of with that too. I think Abdullah, I'm where Fahim is. I think right now, I mean, he may be a little bit. I think he's more. Still think he's a contender. I think he's a level up from a prospect, but I think Abdullah Mason is the truth, and I think he's probably the best fighter Top Rank has on their whole stable right now. Like, yeah, I think he's probably the best fighter that Top Rank has, and that's saying a lot. And I think he's being brought along very, very well. I love the fight that he had with Jeremiah Nakathila. I don't think he's being rushed too fast, so I expect really good things from Abdullah Mason. I think he's a top. I think he's a Troy Hutch said. I think he's a rising contender, and probably I agree with Anton. Might be the best in boxing, but definitely the best with Top Rank, with the exception of maybe Xander Zayas. I think Xander Zayas is up there too, but yeah, I think very much. I think very, very highly of Abdullah Mason. I hope that answers the question.
What's your thoughts on him, 2 Cent?
I like Abdullah Mason. I think he's a good fighter. I think he just needs more experience. He's still young, but my only thing is I don't want, because it's like fans like to see a good fighter like in the process of them being built, and then want to hurry up and rush them to these elite fighters and have them fight. That's my only thing with him. I don't want to see people start being like, oh, he should fight this person, he should fight that person, and every time he fights somebody is he doing it. You know what I'm saying? Just let him continue to build until he gets to that level. And I don't like, now everybody like him, he's good, but as soon as they want him to do something and he don't do it, it all goes south. So I just want people to understand that fighters do have a phase where they got to get built. I think they're talking about him fighting for a championship belt next. What do y'all think about that?
I like it. I mean, he's going to get, Top Rank does that shit where they're not going to let a young man like him fight until they're like 80% sure. And that division is open now because Keyshawn left the division, Lomachenko left the division. So yeah, they probably will go give him a shot at the championship pretty quick. And I don't mind it. But again, Top Rank gives these fighters championship shots. That doesn't mean that these guys are fully developed even when they get a championship shot. Because you saw Keyshawn got a championship shot against Benavidez, but that was, I mean, it's pretty much just like, okay, this is, well, you know, he can win the fight. But that didn't mean that Keyshawn was all the way developed and put together as a fighter. And
he clearly wasn't.
No, because mentally he's not together. You know, mentally he's not together. So,
and we know that Top Rank is putting their fighters in the ring. They are very good at matchmaking. They are very good at finding these fighters in the amateurs, bringing them to the pro level, building their career, matchmaking them with the opponents that they should beat that's in front of them, and then possibly putting them in a position. See, things just got interesting for Abdullah Mason after Keyshawn talked all that crap on the stage to him. And then in that next 24 hours, everything did a 360. So now Abdullah Mason is in the process of, you lost your belt. So you saying that we wanted to fight next, and the opportunity for me to take your belt off of you. Now your belt is vacant. I could possibly fight somebody that's not as talented as Keyshawn and become champion in the division. The IBF is vacant. So yeah, like Fanon said, the 135, a lot of stuff just happened in the last 2 weeks in that one division where things is looking, the landscape is looking crazy right now.
So what do you all think about, I know I'm jumping around, but I ain't talked to Fanon in a minute. I ain't been over here.
I'm good, man. I'm enjoying the conversation. And thank you to everybody that supports in the Cash App to support this conversation. It is important to the channel. So thank you very, very much to the 2 people that supported. Dean, what up, man?
What's up, Fanon? How y'all doing? What's up, 2 Cent? What's good,
What up,
Anton?
Dean?
What's going on, man?
I wanted to speak on all of this is Bill Haney's fault, y'all. All of this.
And Tank. It's Bill and Tank fault.
No, all of this is Bill Haney's fault. I'm gonna tell y'all why. All of this started, the reason why Keyshawn, Shakur, the Tio, Ryan, All of this started because of Bill Haney had putting Devin Haney somewhere that he's not, calling everybody out, creating all of these situations. Then guess what happens, y'all? Now everybody starts to do a thing that we call posturing. Well, if Devin get the opportunity, I'm just as good as Devin. Listen here. Shakur think he's better than Devin, right? They all want to fight Tank. But Tio thinks, well, I've done more than Devin and Shakur. Then you got Ryan over here. Well, I'm a bigger star than all of y'all, and it doesn't matter if I accomplish more or not. I'm still Ryan Garcia. Bill Haney is the reason for all of this. Bill Haney started everybody taking stuff more than they want, but really on the back end, they really not taking what they say they taking. It's all of this posturing going on. And then what happened then now that delayed things for years to the point where these fat ass fighters can't even fight at the divisions that they was first supposed to all meet up at, y'all. We lost at least 7 major fights because now Lomachenko's retired. So now he's not an equation. You can't mix and match him with Tank and goddamn and Shakur and him and Keyshawn. That's out of the door now. That's 3 fights out of the door. Keyshawn goes to 140 because he can't make weight. He posturing, saying he the businessman and don't nobody want to fight him either. He can't even make the weight. He's at 140. The problem with that is, Fanon, we don't know what weight class Tio or Devin Haney is at, even so we can't even get hype about 140 because we're not even sure if 2 of the main guys there are even going to be fighting at that division. All of this catch weight stuff and trying to leverage and all that because Devin took that money. Keyshawn Davis thought De Los Santos was going to take that money. I'm sorry, y'all. I got to call it how I see it. All of this stuff is Bill Haney's fault. I'm going to just be honest. Like I said, man, we lost at least 7 fights from everybody ducking, from everybody trying to go with different promotional companies to show that they can sell pay-per-views like Tank Davis. Everybody clout chase their way to undercard, y'all. These was main event fighters for Tio, a main event fighter. Go ahead, Fanon, go ahead.
You said they clout chase themselves to the undercard.
All of them, Fanon, Shakur, Tio, Devin, their careers ain't go upward, they're going downward. You're supposed to be ascending. You're not supposed to be going backwards. Could y'all imagine Gervonta Davis take his next fight and he's the undercard anywhere? You know why that won't happen? Because his spot he's actually where he actually earned to get to. Even people that don't like Gervonta Davis can't even picture him on the undercard. That's crazy. People that hate Gervonta Davis couldn't even fathom him being on the undercard.
Facts.
Hey, Anton with the $10 holler in the Cash App, brother. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate
no problem, man. No problem. But Deem, I peeped something with the whole antics last weekend with Keyshawn Davis. Remember Tank was I think it was when it was leading up to the Lamont Roach fight, and he was talking about how all these fighters want the spotlight, but when they get the spotlight, they really not even ready for the spotlight. And we just seen that.
Again.
Facts.
And that's why 2 Cent and Anton and Fanon, I said it's Bill Haney fault because Devin was the first to fall. This is why, y'all. Think about it. All of these fighters are attached to Devin Haney, Tank, Shakur. Everybody is intertwined. It's a big circle where every one of them, instead of trying to prove it in the ring, they're trying to posture outside of the ring because they saw how it worked for Bill. Look what Brian Norman Jr. and Floyd Schofield Sr. doing. Where do you think they got that playbook from? I can answer the question of where they got that from. I can answer the question. How do you get your son very popular? Well, you go on channels, deny fights, and then say it's the other guy that's more popular than him is the reason why y'all didn't fight. What Shakur dealing with right now? Shakur did everything in Devin Haney's playbook. Devin went to Eddie first. Correct? Devin was trying to use Turkey and all of that. Devin was with Snack first. I'm just saying, y'all, when we have literally wasted the last 2 years. Fanon's been up here, Phoenix. We've been going back and forth about all of these fights that we want. Do y'all know, y'all, in 2 years we have gotten none of them besides Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia, which became a no contest.
Mm.
That one fight right there has messed up all of this. And it's not even going to be on a record book. I've never seen a fight that's not even going to be on a record book have such an impact on the sport that we love in two of the hottest divisions in boxing.
Mm. He
Well,
cooking
you
right
know,
now.
Dean, I think part of the problem was they wanted to run the 140 and call out Tank. They didn't want to fight him at 35.
But guess what, 2 cents? 35 is where they called them out at. 35 is where it started. That wasn't what they were saying when they was at 35. We just let them slide out the back door with it. Remember Devin Haney was running down the hallway talking about, and I'm staying at 35. What? And I'm staying. People get amnesia, y'all. Dean don't. I don't get amnesia. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
And
get
everything
amnesia.
I
that
didn't
Dean's
forget.
saying is all on video. It's all proof to everything that he just said. All you could see all the videos. The biggest problem that I have with Bill Haney is the fact that you never boxed a day in your life. You never been in that square circle, and you constantly on Twitter. I went at him yesterday on Twitter. You being your son's father and pushing your son's career, cool. If Devin was talking about other fighters, that's a different story. You have no room to trash any fighter, bro. No room. Because you never been in that ring. You don't know what they put in their bodies through, what they gotta go through. Now, if you want to trash Ryan because you feel as though Ryan was on Ostarine and whatever the case may be, but you out here trashing legends and you never even fought before. Where they do
Real
that at?
quick,
You a weird ass old head.
real quick. Pause that thought on weird ass old head. Ralph Chestnut with the $5 holler in the Cash App says, for channel support, salute my guy. A bit busy today. Hey, man, thank you so much, Ralph Chestnut, man. You definitely one of the biggest supporters, bro. Thank you, brother. Go ahead, bro. You said weird ass old head.
Yeah, like I never like Dean being from Philly, we both from Philly. You got your thorough heads, you got your nut ass old heads. That's everywhere in the
Facts.
world. But a old head like you that was supposed to be this dude in the streets and got money and was all this stuff that you claim you is, but meanwhile out here you be out here talking and doing all this to younger fighters when you should be trying to give them the game if you was thorough.
But
But it
guess
ain't no
what, bro?
game. You don't have no game to give. It's all a gimmick.
And it's so crazy because we've let Lomachenko go through the back door without taking on his two biggest opponents. And the reason why I'm harping on Lomachenko, because people for non want to give that man an excuse and talk about his age. So let me ask y'all this question. If we gonna give Lomachenko an excuses about his age, why are we hype about Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez? Terence Crawford is older than Canelo Alvarez. I mean, Terence Crawford's older than Lomachenko. What about Alexander Usyk and Tyson Fury? Did we use their age as an excuse? Didn't we just see two undisputed fighters in Dimitri Bivol and Arthur Beterbiev? We didn't use their age as an excuse. Landy Lara, don't we want to see them unify at 160? Can somebody remind me? I think none of them guys. I think all of those guys are 30 plus. That's champions at 160. So when we let
Lara
and then
42.
thank you, Phoenix. And so when we talk about even Lomachenko, Lomachenko walked out the back door after losing his two other biggest fights to Tio and Devin. So now those are fights that we not even get it, but then you hear people say, "Well, Dame, Lomachenko tried to fight Gervonta years ago." Well, you have no evidence of him ever saying that, but I'll let y'all run with that. Because then now, Fanon, I'm going to use what they've been using for the last 2 years. Phoenix, you're going to love this. 6 years ago, that y'all say Lomachenko wanted to fight Gervonta Davis. Gervonta was at 130. Lomachenko was at 135. They wasn't even in the same division. That's one. Number two, Gervonta Davis was not the star that he is today. He was up and coming star. He was on the rising. He wasn't the Gervonta Davis of today. No. So I got a question, y'all. If that was true and Lomachenko been wanted to fight Gervonta Davis, then if he was the A side, why he ain't sent an offer?
Oh,
Oh, I know
question
why.
real quick. Do you remember how Terence Crawford said Errol Spence isn't in the Hall of Fame?
Yep.
Oh, yes.
Do you realize that Vinny Pazienza just got into the Hall of Fame?
Oh, hey,
Vinny
Paz.
Pazienza got into the Hall of Fame, which means guess who's in the Hall of Fame? Gervonta. There's no way Gervonta's not making it into the Hall of Fame if Vinny Pazienza is in there. So all y'all with he needs to see greatness and all that shit, shove it up your ass. Because Vinny Pazienza is not on Gervonta Davis's level, and he's not on Errol Spence level, and he got into the International Hall of Fame. So you guys can shove all that, what they need to do for their legacy stuff, up your ass. Because Tim Bradley is in there, and Vinny Pazienza is in there.
And Rocky is in there.
And Rocky's in there. Somebody else got in there recently as well. I can't remember.
Butterbean's up in there.
Come on, man. You guys can cut that shit. Gervonta Davis has made it. As is, he's made it. And somebody else. The question I got is, has Erislandy Lara made it? Because Erislandy Lara now is a long time two division reigning champion at 154 and 160. He's had several defenses of his 160 pound title, and he had a bunch of defenses of his 154 pound title. He's in the Hall of Fame.
He's the only person that's holding 60 down right now.
Hey, Erislandy Lara should be in the Hall of Fame.
Fanon, do you remember you taught me something, Fanon? This was about a year ago. We was having this conversation, and you the only person that I've ever heard use the Hall of Fame in this way. And give me some time to explain what I'm saying. I was listening to Fanon probably about a year ago, and he was saying it's called the Hall of Fame. Name me another. This how you know Gervonta is getting in without any questions asked. Can you name me another fighter that was ever considered one of the faces of boxing who's not in the Hall of Fame?
No.
Let's start there.
No.
Okay.
Not a single one. Arturo Gotti's in the Hall of Fame. So I ain't trying to hear that shit at all.
And Mickey Ward too, I believe.
Yeah, Mickey Ward too.
And them dudes was never considered the face of boxing ever.
No, we're never one of the 2 or 3 biggest names in boxing. You can't
Neither
name
was Tim Bradley.
Man, Vitaly Klitschko's going to get in the Hall of Fame if he's not in there already. Vitaly's going to get in there.
If y'all can, you won't be able to find another fighter that was a pay-per-view star and attraction. So, y'all, I'm going to tell y'all what happened with Gervonta Davis, and this is the saddest part when it comes to his career. People are mad at Gervonta Davis because they feel he don't deserve to be where he's at. That's the biggest problem. People think they want to use unifications, undisputeds, resumes, all of that. The part that they hate is like the Castanet effect. Why is this streamer as big as he is? He's more popular than me.
What effect?
Castanet. You know how he a streamer? He's not a billionaire. I mean, he's not a billionaire. He don't own a major business or none of that stuff. He's not an athlete or any of that. So when the other celebrities are around him that he's more famous than, they kind of have like how is he more important than me? How is he hosting BET Awards and doing all of that stuff? Well, you don't determine that. Supporters determine that. You don't get to determine who people like and who they want to support and who they don't want to support. And that's the biggest problem when it comes to Gervonta Davis. People feel that Gervonta Davis do not deserve to be in a position that he's in. And that's why you always hear excuses. Well, he's only there because of Floyd. He's only there because of this. He's only there because of that. And then I ask people, well, is Gervonta Davis the only person that Floyd Mayweather has ever promoted? Ain't it other people on TMT? Why is Carmel Moulton not the face of boxing? Somebody explain this to me.
Oh, I could touch on that.
Hey, before you touch on that, hold on. Before you touch on that, Creole, my guy Big Dog Willie said, "Tank and Maniacs, please don't hijack Abdullah Mason from Real Boxing Fans. I see y'all trying to replace Tank with Mason. Mason don't use hair grease." Nigga crazy. Creole the Traveler said, "Keep up the good work, Martin." I will, Creole. Thank you, Creole the Traveler. And then obviously my guy Alton Jones in the Cash App with the big $5 holler. Thank you, brother, for that support, man. Thank you, sir. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, I'll say like, man,
Phoenix.
people using that. People using that excuse of Tank's only where he's at because of Floyd. Look at this. What happened to Devin Haney? Didn't he beat Floyd into retirement? How come he's not up there, right? Or look at the Davis brothers 3, or the dumb dudes that just messed up this last weekend. Where are they at? Wasn't Floyd up in the camp with them? Look at Shakur. Didn't Shakur have Floyd, Andre Ward, and Terence Crawford coming to watch him? How come all these other people that Floyd been around the supporting ain't picking nothing up? Maybe because they ain't shit. I mean, shoot, even Teofimo was hanging around Floyd. He ain't going nowhere. Like people, but it's like what Floyd said: all roads lead to Floyd Mayweather. He said this 10 years ago, and we see it now. Like everybody always want to blame him for something. Like man, even with Canelo and Bud coming up, you see they copied the one poster that they was using for Floyd and Canelo. They copied that to do Bud and Canelo's poster. Did you see that they're charging to get into the press conference in New York? Just
What?
like Floyd, yeah, $70 because it's part of that Fanatics weekend thing that they're doing up there in New York. So whenever they got the press conference on that day, it's $70 to get in.
Nah, he telling the truth. That's a fact.
Yep.
But
So
Phoenix, you know what's crazier? The part is, and then they'll use. Well, I've heard people tell me this. Well, Dean Gervonta is where he at because he exciting. He knocked people out. Can't give you that one. Ennis is a knockout artist. So is Terence Crawford. What about Noah Inouye? What about Arthur Beterbiev? Why ain't they the face of box? So it gotta be something more than Floyd, because he's not the only person that has been promoted by Floyd. It gotta be more than something than he's exciting because he's not the only knockout artist that's in
I know
boxing.
what it is. You know what it
Well, we
is?
talk to me,
You know what it
Phoenix.
is? Hey, you familiar with payola, right?
Yeah.
How,
Yeah.
yep. Hey, all these other fighters, payola, Tank's authentic. That's what it is.
And
They
and,
out
and,
they out
and
here
you hit it.
they out here thinking you push their name enough, the people is gonna go ahead and jump on board with the popularity. But Tank got the authenticity, and that's why people gravitate towards him. So it don't even matter if he get the knockouts or not. The dude's authentic. And he got that personality. He speaks to the people, so that's why he always gonna have fans, even if he get a knockout or not. Like people didn't jump ship after he went the distance with Pitbull Cruz.
Nope.
They didn't jump ship with that because the fight was still exciting. So that's the thing. Like people don't understand. Like it ain't about the knockouts. It ain't about standing there and trading. Even though some of these fighters want to go ahead and do the Tom and Jerry. It's about having that authenticity. If you got the authenticity, then you're gonna have fans because subconsciously people got that bullshit detector, and it don't go off when you got Tank around.
Phoenix, like that was the best I heard anybody say that. I'm gonna be honest. It's the authenticity. I 100% agree. I 100% agree.
Yeah,
100%.
and plus he was big before he's big in the amateurs.
Yeah, for nine. And when you hear the stories about like Tank was a draw in the DMV prior to all of this, it wasn't like that's how Floyd. See, people talk about Floyd getting him. How did Floyd even know who Gervonta was? People never even talk about what led Gervonta to Floyd. He
AB.
came across Floyd radar because he had the whole day. Floyd couldn't go nowhere without hearing, yo, Floyd, yo, it's this young kid from Baltimore, man. Man, you might want to go check him out. You might want to go see about Floyd tell the story. And then Adrian Broner was going to him like, yo, I got this young boy. That's different, bro. I'm telling you. And Floyd said, okay, let me go check him out. And Gervonta Davis' talent stood out. They never want to give him credit for that, Fanon. What about the fact that people can tell he's probably just more talented than the rest of those guys?
Man,
You could
I've
tell.
still never seen a performance. I've still, out of none of those fighters, have I seen a performance like Gervonta and Jose Pedraza. And he showed that place up. Remember, because what was this thing? He fought on the undercard of James DeGale versus somebody. And they fought in New York and the whole place was sold out. Who's that?
Wasn't you on Floyd undercard?
I don't know.
He
No,
was
no, no,
he was
not
on the
that fight.
undercard of James DeGale. It was James DeGale
Okay,
versus
okay.
somebody. James DeGale versus somebody fought in New York City and the place sold out. And it was because of Tank. Because Tank is big in that area. Yeah, if you have a good amateur program and you get somebody that's a star in that area and you bring them to that area, everybody from Baltimore went up to New York to watch him fight. That's how, because he had a fan base ahead of time. But these guys don't have fan bases. Devin don't have no fan base. Devin doesn't have a fan base. Tio doesn't have a fan base. Neither one. I think Ryan Garcia is the only one of those guys that really has their own fan base. I think the rest of those guys are what Deem said. They just posturing. They're just on YouTube all the time.
Yeah, and you notice that Ryan and Tank is two of the youngest people in the game that is not giving all of these people these type of interviews. They don't like Tank because Tank is quiet. He's doing his thing while he's performing, while he's preparing for his fights. He's not all in. Every time he get a microphone in his face, he's not just blabbing off at the mouth. That's all of these young dudes do, and I think that's a trend. What where this ducking is. Like, because I had asked on a different channel, do you automatically think that because somebody had a microphone in their face and they said they wanted to fight Tank, do you honestly think that they were serious about that fight, or did they just say that because they on camera? These is fake call outs. You ain't name one of them fighters like how I used to be back in the day. Name one fighter that you seen jump in the ring and they be in the stands, because there's pictures of Devin and all of them in the stands at Tank fight. Show me one video of them getting in the ring after a Tank fight and approaching Tank and saying, "Let's make the fight happen." Show me one. I've
None.
never seen it.
Well,
But
I'm
they'll
gonna be
sit there and wait
Antoine.
for him to flip off the back
Anton, you want
ropes.
to know why that is, bro? Because to be real, they already know Tank could turn up if they did that right then and there. Like, they don't want to get embarrassed on that shit. Could you imagine if they jump in the ring and jump in Gervonta Davis' face and say this, that, and the third? He gonna be so disrespectful. They don't want to get embarrassed on national TV. But with
Yep,
We
all of this
already seen
stuff,
it happen to Devin. We've seen it
yeah,
happen to
we
Devin.
already
Remember when
seen it
Tank rolled
happen,
up
yep,
on him
Devin.
in Vegas?
yep,
So,
Ran up on him in the club. We seen
yep.
Ryan Garcia was talking about suing Tank got in his face. So hey, they already know. They already know. And like man, look at Devin Haney during that thing though. Tank was taking pictures in front of his car, but you see what happened when Tank actually came up on him? Devin already in the car sticking his head out
He
the
was in the
window,
back seat, head
smiling
out the
for the
window,
camera. And he looked at the
while his
camera to make sure
security,
the
while his
camera was on
security
him.
is standing in front of Tank.
I'm gonna tell y'all the
Yeah, and then he
truth,
was
y'all. It come
man.
all of this stuff, honestly. And I'm about to go here for a reason because when you really step back and you really think about it, yo, they don't care that Canelo Alvarez is the face of boxing and they don't come at him the same way because he's Mexican. It's the fact that these guys are young black men and we do this in our community. And this is why I like Abdullah Mason so much. You don't have to lie to kick it, bro. Y'all
Yep.
want to be where Gervonta Davis is at because you want what comes with the popularity that he gets from the same community. You want when you go outside for the black community to support you the way they support him. And then when that's not happening, and you know how you know that's true, because Bill Haney, they number one excuse is y'all tearing down a black man. Y'all tearing down a black man. But nobody says
Gee,
nothing.
let me
When,
tear down that black
go
man for a minute.
ahead. Go ahead.
Some black men need to be torn down. You, hell no. You think anyway? Go ahead, Dean. Sorry.
No, I was saying that to say, Fanon, it's because they all are trying to be in competition for the same fan base, and they don't like that. They feel as though that they just as good as Tank.
It's unimportant.
It's one of those things where
And leave it there.
a guy want a girl. If y'all seen on Castanet and them string, y'all probably a little too old for this, but dude, they got this new saying, "My ball." Oh, that girl, that's my ball. So when they see another guy that the girl actually wants to be with, people be like, "Oh man, you dirty." They start dirty macking. Y'all know that word. That's from y'all generation. They start dirty macking. All
What's
they
dirty
doing is
Mackie?
basically going to a girl talking trash about a guy she likes because you like her. So you'd be like,
Oh
"Man, you
yeah,
know,
yeah, I know that
you
shit. Dirty Mackin. Oh yeah, I
dirty
know that.
macking, yeah." Oh, you know, Gervonta Davis ain't really that good. I'm better than him. I could beat what? Who he for? What he done? Why y'all give him that praise? They dirty Mac Gervonta Davis because they want what he got. And like Tank said, look at Keyshawn. If you did have all of the spotlight on you, you wouldn't even know how to handle it. Look at Devin Haney running around the ring. When the pressure is really, really on, you wouldn't know how to handle it. Ryan Garcia crying in the sprinter van. You wouldn't know how to handle it, man. But all of those fighters, look at Tio. He don't know what weight class he want to fight at. He don't know if he want to use the N-word. He want to be cool with black people or not. He don't know what he want to do. All of this come from is they all think that they supposed to be somewhere that, and they want to force it. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to trash that person because I want his popularity. And it's not working. All it does is be counterproductive. David Benavidez don't got to do that. He ain't got to do that to get people to support him. David Benavidez got the black community, the Mexican community, the white community. Everybody kind of likes David Benavidez. You don't hear nobody say nothing crazy about David Benavidez. You know why? Because he don't got to use nobody else's name to build who he was. Canelo ain't want to fight. What David Benavidez do? Go get David Morrell. Go get Govchek. Go get a championship at 175. Put yourself in position to fight Dimitri Bivol. Look at what Abdullah Mason did. Stayed humble. Keyshawn Davis did all of that showing out. Look how God works. You don't even make weight. I'm the main event. I show out. Who everybody talking about the next day? That's why you had to act up in the back. That's why you went to Nail Albright locker room and showed out.
Well, look what you said, though, Dean. Look what you said about Benavidez. Look at the opponents you named that he fought. I think what's happening is a lot of these fighters, they want the least amount of risk for the most money, but they want to appear like it's something else. So they attach their names to Tank, and this is my 2 cents. They attach their names to Tank, make it seem like he don't want to fight them, which is the reason why they're fighting this subpar competition. As if they're so good that the only person that's good enough to be a competitor with them is Gervonta Tank Davis, and he don't want to give them the fight. When it's just simply not true. And so people get distracted with that. And for whatever reason, it's like revenge of the nerds. Like they don't want to get behind the star and the person that's putting on the fights and doing all of this. They want to be the contrarian and go with the other person and go against Tank. And what do you see happening? All those dominoes are falling and all that stuff is blowing up in those people's face that was saying that. All those people that was like, we ain't gonna talk about Tank no more because he ain't fighting for legacy. He ain't doing. We're gonna talk about Keyshawn. Yeah, Keyshawn doing it. Keyshawn this, Keyshawn that, and they put all of that on Keyshawn before he deserved it or got there, and it all crumbled. And if these fighters were putting on more competitive fights, they would not have to continue to ride Tank's coattail. You got Devin Haney fighting all the way at 144 pounds. He a light welterweight. And he's still saying Tank name. Why is that?
Hey, see that, and that's the thing. Like with all of that, it's funny that they go through all these lengths to try to hype himself up because, look what DAZN is doing. Deem, I know you seen my tweet last night.
Oh yeah, tell Fanon, Phoenix, what you saw. I saw.
Hey, as soon as I turn on my TV, they're talking about DAZN Uncut. The countdown. And what they got? A training montage of Gervonta Davis getting ready for Lamont Roach is what they call it. But what they really did was just take a whole bunch of Gervonta sparring clips to be floating around YouTube for the past 10 years and put that up. Like they're not even trying to show their own fighters, and none of these guys.
Why did they do that?
I have no idea.
2 Cent. You know why they did that? 2 Cent. It's the same thing. I'm gonna show y'all how people just be talking on this internet, y'all. It's funny that all of the people that was calling out Gervonta Davis, 2 Cent and Fanon, I remember everybody was hating on Lamont Roach when the fight first got announced, and they were saying how Gervonta Davis is cherry picking and bringing people up, right? Well, that's mighty funny. It's mighty funny, Fanon.
And how they wasn't watching the fight. Yeah, I remember all that.
Remember that, right?
Yep.
T.O., Keyshawn Davis, and Shakur Stevenson all said they want to fight Lamont Roach too now. Wow. I haven't heard no criticism for T.O. wanting to fight Lamont Roach. What about Shakur? I haven't heard no criticism from Shakur fans. Big Dog Willie, I haven't heard no criticism because of that. Keyshawn Davis fans, let me holler at y'all. I ain't heard nobody say nothing about that. So they got to say that the man was cherry picking and doing all that. Remember, y'all was the ones running with this. Now, the same fighters y'all was using against Gervonta Davis does it again. Remember they wanted to fight Pitbull? What about Mario Barrios? Ryan Garcia? Rolly Romero. It's funny now. Now everybody want to fight Lamont Roach.
Yep. And what the thing about Shakur, and I like Shakur in certain ways, but the thing about Shakur is after Shakur is done with this last fight on Matchroom, it's gonna tell what he wants to do, whether he want that Tank fight or not. We're gonna see his decision. But what Tank was saying when he was like saying that Keyshawn is doing more than Shakur at this moment, everybody thought that he was talking about Shakur's legacy. No, he was talking about Shakur not being able to. Keyshawn sold out his whole town twice. Like Tank is talking about relative like that when like how you were saying the Hall of Fame. He was putting it in the context of like Keyshawn then sold out his home arena. He didn't have people walking. He has exciting fights. So that's what Tank was talking about when he was talking about Shakur. To me personally, I've always believed that Shakur or Devin, I never thought that neither one of them wanted to fight Tank. I thought they just wanted to use Tank name, build a career in the media, stuff like that, attach their name to it. Because if you look at 135, Shakur's resume at 135 is terrible. Now, if you want to go to 130, 126, you can find some names, but Josh Padley, a Haratunian, and what's his name? You can't even count the Santos fight because that wasn't a fight.
Arthur.
Yeah, the Santos fight wasn't a fight. So we hoping to get a good performance from him and Williams Zepeda. But if not, it's like, come on, bro, y'all can't. Terence Crawford had to build himself into what he had to become in order for him to get that Errol Spence fight. Earl was so much as a star, like in the boxing, that nobody was comparing who was the bigger star in boxing at one point in time, Terence Crawford and Errol Spence, because we already knew who the biggest star was. It was Errol Spence. So
Facts.
Terence Crawford had to get himself in position to get that fight. He had to
Bro,
earn his spot. And that's the
bro,
same thing that they got to do.
bro, just even think about it. Lamont Roach was on every goddamn radio station, TV show, YouTube channel. Lamont Roach put himself on the same level as Keyshawn Davis and Shakur and Devin and all of the rest of those guys off of one fight from fighting Gervonta goddamn Davis. That's how you know it got. Now, and I have to prove it to y'all. Can y'all please name me the fighter that Shakur, Devin, Keyshawn, T.O., just name them, that they fought, that people was criticizing the fight prior? Did Padley become a star after fighting Shakur Stevenson?
No.
Name me anybody they fought that was considered lesser competition. That when they fought them, they became a bigger star. They have not elevated anybody. Lamont
That's a
Roach is
very
a
solid point. Nobody.
nobody for nine. They haven't elevated anybody. Lamont Roach got a draw, and people treated him like he won the fight. So,
That's how it goes.
and then look what he doing for nine. He using the same playbook, and I ain't even mad at Lamont Roach. Go get your shine, my guy. But understand that you're getting your shine because of you're associated with Gervonta Davis. Just don't lose sight of that. So that's the thing I don't like about Lamont Roach. Don't lose sight of why they're interviewing you, why they're interested in you. You did good. You deserve the credit. So that's part of the reason. But the other reason is who you was fighting. Because when you did good against Hector Luis Garcia, another guy that Gervonta Davis beat, nobody was bringing you on interviews or nothing like that.
Very solid point, man. And it's funny because there's another YouTube channel that has a live stream that comes on at the same time that said nobody wants to talk about anybody but Gervonta Davis. And I'm telling you, that's about the truth of it. You guys are not being able to manufacture anybody's interest in these fights, man. Because, dude, it's not organic. It's not organic. These fake call outs, and that's the only beef I have with a lot of YouTube channels. Well, I got a lot of beefs, but a beef I have with you guys, man, is you take every call out like it's serious. Devin called out Gervonta Davis about 5 times when he already had another fight, lying about lying about WBA rules and all kind of other crap just to make it look like Gervonta Davis was ducking somebody that had no intention on fighting him because he knew he wasn't going to be fighting at that weight. I mean, I think it's media collusion, And the media is perfectly fine with it because the media is getting paid by Turki Alalshikh to do it. So, they're riding the wave, but it's a fake wave. It's a fake wave. My Roach is legitimately has real name recognition because people saw him fight. People didn't see Devin fight. They didn't. I mean, even in the bad fights they had, the people didn't watch those fights. So, I mean, it is just what it is. It's people just trying to, what do you call it, crab grab on the back of Gervonta. And it's a bad, go ahead, man. Go ahead, Dean. I can talk all day.
No, what you were saying. No, for now you saying it's a bad business strategy. That's what I was trying to bring out, period. Look what's happened to those 4 or 5 guys. It's a bad business strategy. Now, guess what, Fanan? The guy that don't say too much of nothing and Abdullah Mason is slowly coming. Let Abdullah have 2 more performances like that, y'all. Let that happen. And
exactly. And then have somebody else come up. And they have somebody else come up at the same time as him and have a natural match take place. You remember when Rolly Romero is a really bright guy. He said that there's only really 2 ways where you make a really big fight. It's where you have 2 guys that have really big support groups behind them when they fight, or when 2 people in the same weight class fight each other and they're considered to be the top 2 guys in the weight class. That's how you make big fights. And he was like talking about Terence, Crawford, and Canelo and saying that's not going to be a big fight because number one, Terence Crawford does not have drawing power on his own. You're going to have people that are buying it. Most of the people are going to buy it because of Canelo. There's not a huge group of fans that are going to buy it because of Terence Crawford. So, I mean, I think it's a lot of make-believe. It's a lot of make-believe going on.
Like he lied and said he made more than Gervonta Davis.
What is Canelo's credibility with his fan base?
Nothing. Very little.
He don't need it. He don't need it. 2 cents. They gonna support the Mexican culture, and I'm not knocking them. Shout out to my essays, the Mexican culture, because we need you on boxing. So, but 2 cents. Once one of their fighters get to a certain level, they support it no matter what. They don't care. They're not like us in that way.
No, I think they feel some type of way about that fight he had in Saudi.
No. What I'm saying too, it's part of them. They could feel some type of way, but as a group, they're not going to cancel Canelo. They're going to still support him in a whole. You understand? They're not going to try to de-elevate him, even if they dislike it. They didn't like the William Skull fight or whatever. They still going to be there in full support when it comes to him fighting Terence Crawford. So that's really the main reason. Canelo is at a level where it's like in his fan base, he doesn't have he knows this 2 cents. That's why he take all of these fights and don't care. Because he know what I'm saying is true. They gonna buy it regardless, unfortunately, whatever he does. So it's not the same, it's not the same way for Black Americans. Or us in the Black culture, we're not just buying whatever. You put on doo-doo performances, we gonna let you know about it, no matter how much we like you.
Yeah, and you know why that is? Because we got more athletes than they do.
Exactly.
In order to be the top Black fighter, you got to be one of the top Black athletes. And all of the athletes, Black athletes, are packing football and packing basketball. So it's very, very tough to rise to the top of Black America in any sport, because we just have so many athletes. You know what I mean? So, but we're Mexican Americans, and I'm not, once again, shout out to all y'all. Y'all don't have as many top level American athletes as Black Americans have. So that support base is going to be more stable than it is with Black Americans. But I think it's the same thing. If these media people would not be attacking Gervonta Davis so much, and Bill Haney and that bullshit that you described, Dean, they're just weighing down Gervonta. Gervonta would be significantly more popular than he is right now if they didn't have a concerted effort to tear down the guy all the time. They're just trying to keep him at the level that he's in and not allow him to grow. They're even getting in and shout out to Knockout Boxing 86, who's been reporting on this. They're going out of their way to prevent Gervonta Davis from even having fight dates at venues. They're trying to shut this guy down so bad. I would love to see how big Gervonta could be if people would not try to tear him down so much. But, Bill Haney thinks that, if I tear Gervonta Davis down, that's going to build Devin up. It's not. Devin's not that good a fighter. It's just that simple.
But
The
he
big
winning. Oh, go ahead.
No, I'll let you go. But the biggest problem with Devin, T.O., and Ryan is that they don't have the talent to overcome their bad days. If they have a bad day, that shit's going to stink up the whole place. If Floyd Mayweather Jr. has a bad day, he's still going to win, and it's still going to be an entertaining fight. They don't have the talent level that Gervonta Davis has. They don't have the talent level that Jaron Ennis has. They don't have the talent level Terence Crawford has. They're just not that good. Because if they were that good, they would be able. If Devin was that good, he would have been able to beat Ryan.
That's the biggest difference right there, is that they don't have the same level of talent, which is fine.
Thank you.
I mean, it's no problem with that. Just don't try to tear down Tank, because let's say they tear Tank down, then what? Because they're not gonna carry boxing. They're not gonna carry and bring all the casuals and stuff to the sport. They're not going to do that. So just like Keyshawn said, for whatever it's worth, you need people like Tank to help uplift the sport and bring eyes to the sport. That's going to benefit them. So it's like they shooting themselves in the foot when they're doing that. It doesn't make sense.
But guess what,
and it's not even true. It's like I could see if some of the things they were saying or the assessments were true. They're not even true. It's actually a projection. You're projecting the things you're doing onto Tank as if he's doing them. You're the one that's not fighting the high level competition. Tank is doing that.
Yep.
But Two Cent, why even with somebody like Keyshawn Davis is such a contradiction? Because, bro, you was one of the ones tearing him down. You can't say that afterwards.
Hey, I'll be right back, all right? I'll be right back.
So you come to that realization now. You've been one of the main ones. So now you exposing that you was jealous because you didn't have a change of heart now. So why was you doing all of that just a year ago?
Yep.
If he meant what he was saying, if you understood that you tearing down Gervonta and all of that, and he did so much, then why was you the main one saying he wasn't doing that? He been tricking the game too long. That was you, bro. And this is what I'm talking about. They own envy. They don't even know they exposed their own envy and jealousy just by him saying that. And guess what, 2 Cent? I ain't heard nobody get on Keyshawn Davis, because this is why he really lost. Forget the fight. Forget him not missing weight. Did y'all hear Keyshawn Davis say he don't want to unify with Raymond Maritala because he don't want to pay for another belt? Yep. If y'all tell Gervonta Davis he not great if he don't unify with these guys.
Yep.
And I said that time,
hypocrisy, man.
I think I made a video about that, or maybe I talked about it on my live, but I'm just like, so nobody gonna bat an eye. This man said he don't want no bells. He the businessman. He not trying to unify and all of this stuff. He said that several times. And no,
why he fight Brennan from the get-go?
Exactly, because he knew he was going to go up to one. He knew he was going to grab that belt and just drop it and go up to 140. He knew he was going to do that. And when he was trying to make Abdullah look crazy, he exposed himself, because he was like, oh, Abdullah said, ain't you about to drop the belt and go to 140? And I'm like, you just exposing yourself, Keyshawn. You're not exposing Abdullah.
Exactly.
Yeah, he exposing himself. And I just got one statement real quick, Phoenix. And Dean, what you were saying about how people be saying certain things, that was my problem with Bill Haney. When Bill Haney got up there, he said what he was saying was correct, but it was from the wrong person. When he said the black fighter got to be superior, they don't criticize the Mexicans and everybody the same. But yeah, Bill, you can't say that when you're directly yourself tearing down black fighters. You was passing Tank's mugshot around. You lied on Gary Russell Jr. It's so many fighters that you trash. So now you talk about black fighters got to work extra hard. Yeah, you're part of the problem too.
Man, Bill be on something with that. It was a few weeks ago when he tried to talk about what different boxers accomplished by the age of 26, and I responded to him, because I was like, Bill, why are you trying to use 26 and talk about Floyd and Antonio Tarver? Antonio Tarver didn't even have his first pro fight at the age of 26. Yeah, he had his first pro fight when he was like 28 or 29. So you can't even use that. Why not compare their first 10 years in the sport? Because Devin's coming up on his 10 years this December. So what did his first 10 years look like compared to Antonio Tarver's first 10 years? What did it look like compared to Floyd's first 10 years? At Floyd's first 10 years, that was after he had just defeated Zab Judah. So Floyd's career from the beginning to when he defeated Zab Judah, that's the stage that Devin Haney should be at right now. And Devin ain't done shit nowhere near what Floyd has done during his first 10 years. Bill always be trying to spin something. Like, man, the fact that he want to call Devin Haney Debo, talk about everybody was happy making money. And that, man, Ryan must have been Craig with that brick. I'm telling you, Brian must have been Craig with that brick because he put an end to that real quick. And he want to talk about everyone was happy making money. That Bill, they still making money. The people who was making money is still making money. Meanwhile, y'all was taking net profit deals that ended up on undercards. So what you talking about, man? What you talking about? And this, like, it's like I've been saying, like for the past couple of years, like the more these guys talk, the more it's going to get worse for them because they're not going to be able to keep up with all the stories they telling. That's the problem with lies. You got to have a good memory, and if you got a
Phoenix, I
bad
want to
memory,
know. Bill need to worry about what weight division Devin is fighting at first. I don't want to hear nothing else from Bill. You said your son don't do catch weights. Why are
they
y'all
at
doing
heavyweight.
catch weights?
No,
But
they
how
at
was he
heavyweight.
ranked
That's
number
that new
one at
division.
47? How was he ranked number one at 47? He hasn't even fought in the division.
That's
Man,
some BS.
they put him there immediately. The Fatal Fury card was announced like months before. Months before that card was even announced, they already put Devin at number one for 147. So that's the thing there that the WBC did because I think they was thinking that Devin was going to go ahead and fight Barrios because he had mentioned that, but they didn't
Mhm.
count on Manny Pacquiao coming back.
Yeah, he did too. He also mentioned fighting. Remember when he was at 140 and Bill and him was talking about they was going up to 147 to fight Josh Taylor possibly or Keith Thurman.
Yeah, yeah,
But
Man, Bill
yeah.
y'all know
system
what's.
ain't
Let me
live.
ask y'all a question though. Like this is what like I I be pondering on, right? Like the Shakur Stevenson situation. I don't understand how a fighter in his prime that left Top Rank, just my 2 cents, in order to get better opportunities, but now you end up on undercards, and it's like you're like, how are you such a great fighter? You got all these accolades, but yet you're going backwards in your career, and you haven't even taken a loss.
And hey, I got an answer for that, and them Shakira fans gonna be mad at me for this one, but I tell you like this. I tell you like this. You know, we had talked about it a few weeks ago. Talking about Shakur standing on principle and his business and 10 toes down. Like I've been saying, his principles is capping and chasing the bag. He taking So that's what he's doing. He's chasing that bag, the most amount of money for the least amount of resistance. And that's what he's landed himself in. And then the sad part is like he went from at least he was headlining events, whenever he was on that ESPN plus. But now that it's coming to pay-per-views, he been pushed down the undercard status. But I was saying though, based on the way the tickets is moving, they might be okay putting him as the main event because won't be nobody to walk out the fight when that shit happens. Because they're not going to have nobody in the arena. So they could really put him back up at the main event now. I think that's the main reason why they didn't want that because if people's leaving before the main event, that's a bad look. And they seen what
Phoenix,
happened during his last fight.
the reason why this is happening is Shakur. Don't nobody want to say this about Shakur, but I'm going to say it. That's my guy. Shakur wanted to listen to everybody. Shakur wanted to be arrogant and try to go against the grain and show that he's just as big a star as Tank, and it has backfire. He has lost popularity ever since he stopped dealing with Top Rank. His career has not went upwards since he's left Top Rank. It has went downwards since he's left Top Rank. Eddie
Yep.
Hearn has not spent a dollar on Shakur Stevenson yet. Not one
And you're
dollar.
right.
And then Shakur talking about he the greatest promoter. How when he hasn't put on a strictly card for a matchroom like he did with Gervonta Ennis. Y'all, Shakur Stevenson and Gervonta Ennis both signed a month apart
Yep.
to matchroom, y'all. Gervonta Ennis is already out of his contract. He already had
Yep.
his 3 fights that he headlined, every last single one of them. 2 of them was in his hometown. The other one was in Atlantic City, was basically close to his hometown. The same people showing up.
Yep.
Shakur Stevenson thought that he wanted to show the world that he's where Tank at, and that he told Fanon he not gonna little boy me and all of that. And then Fanon asked him, so if they gave you $6 million, would you take it, consider it? He hasn't even gotten that. He was trying to downplay $6 million with Fanon. He
bro,
hasn't even gotten
bro.
that.
I
That's
remember. Hey, I
crazy.
remember that. See, the craziest part is though, because like by looking at what they said the purses were for Bival and Better BF too, they saying that Shakur earned what, 5 million. But remember
No.
when that's what he was saying. That's it, and that's if that's right. That's if that's right. They saying he got 5 million for Patty, and if that is true. And because you remember Shakur came out and said that was his biggest bag yet, the Padley fight. If that is true, that means he lied when he was up here because he was talking about the actual number is way higher than 6. 6 was just a hypothetical. He's like, oh no, it's higher than that. Like the actual, biggest payday higher than that. I'm like, how? So you saying your actual highest payday is higher than 6? Meanwhile, the reported 5 million you got for Padley, you saying was your biggest bag yet. See, man, this dude out here just be capping. And I said the same thing you said, Dean. Like, people don't really understand that this free agency thing, it's not what y'all think it is if y'all don't got the name that's gonna allow you to do it. That's why
Yeah.
Floyd was able to do it. That's why Pacquiao could do it. That's why people like Miguel Cotto could have did it. He just didn't leave Top Rank until he had his second fight with Margarito. They have very few fighters whose names is big enough that they can stand there and do that. That's why Jake Paul was able to come in because he got the fans. That's why Jake Paul
Uh-huh.
is making money right now. If you do not have fans, you saying F the fans, you saying I don't care about the fans, and that's where the money comes from. How you gonna make money? You
Yep.
not, because where is that gonna come from? That's the thing that people is not
And
understanding. I mean,
Phoenix,
like,
but not to cut you off, but before you came on here, I was talking about that because with this Turkey model, it's like they're not worried about no fans because they're gonna get this quote unquote guaranteed money, but they're not thinking about the longevity of what's going on. They going payday to payday to payday. And what are you gonna do when Turkey business model is no longer around like that?
short-term plans produce
Yeah.
short-term results.
The
Like they
problem I have,
they're not thinking long term.
the problem I have
My
with
the
that
crazy
is,
part to me. Go ahead, Anton. I'm sorry.
no, I'm just gonna be real quick. The problem that I have with that is we've known in boxing where as though a person, you get your purse. If you want pay-per-view, your pay-per-view do good, you get your money on the back end. PBC, that's their motto. That's been the motto in boxing for years. Now it's all of a sudden a problem because Turkey is giving people money up front, and you don't even know how much money you could have made on the back end because you ain't never gonna see it because it ain't even in your contract. So if you only taking 2 million, but you could have made an extra 2-3 million on pay-per-view, you would never know.
And there's another problem with that
Hey,
too. The money they're saying they make
Hey,
is lies.
real quick. Come on, what's on your mind, man?
I'm just listening to this great conversation these wonderful boxing minds are having. So I was just listening, but I did want to say I forgot to mention when I was on here Monday. Salute to the beautiful and talented Coco Golf, being
Woo!
the number one player in the world en route to the French Open title. That clay court has always given Americans problems, men and women. Sarita won there a few times, but that's our hardest open. So salute to Coco for winning that one.
Yes, and shame on that broad for having such bad sportsmanship when she got her ass whooped.
Absolutely.
That was terrible sportsmanship. What's her name again? Sabalenka?
She didn't beat me because she's better.
Yeah, I mean,
Here,
Swiatek? I forgot her name. Was it Sabalenka or was it Swiatek?
I think it's Sabalenka. I think
Okay.
it's
she,
Sabalenka.
she a distant cousin of DB3.
Yeah. Let me
They had
see.
a weekend, right? Crazy.
Sabalenka, yeah,
Yeah.
she beat Sabalenka. Arena Sabalenka.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah, hey y'all, but I'm about to bounce up out of here, man, real quick. Is there anything else you want to come on?
Yeah, I would just want to say I agree with the panel. I mean, Turkey is disincentivizing, and this is why I wanted you to do that video on the knowledge that Bob Arum was dropping from the Fight Hub videos. I've also sent you the Sean Zattel. I don't know if you've watched them. Radio Raheem and Sean Zattel have had a couple of videos where they're sitting down and dropping knowledge. I don't know if you've caught those, Fanan. I sent those to you.
I watched some of one of them when they started talking about how Keyshawn Davis behaved in his interviews. I think that came from that one, but I'll go and watch them again. I'll go make sure I watch all of it.
Yeah, it did come from that one because Radio Raheem is really good. I know some of the folks on YouTube don't
Doing
like
all right. How
Radio
you doing?
Raheem. He's a brilliant mind.
No,
And he
Radio
knows, and
Raheem
he
knows
knows
good.
boxing.
They came out like about 15 minutes ago. Yeah,
Yeah, look, y'all. I'm about to run up out of here, man.
I'll
I
put
gotta
you on
bounce.
that.
All right,
All right,
Fanon,
y'all.
peace out.
All right, for now. See you tomorrow, man. If you want.
Okay,
For sure,
okay,
I'm
sound
on
good.
All
Okay.
right, y'all. Get back.
Peace.
All right, y'all. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank y'all for checking me out. Much love to everybody in the Cash App, everybody in the Super Chat. Thank y'all for supporting the channel. But with that, I'm going to get up out of here. Deuces.